anything that I need to. You just search it and you can find what you need if you need
Yep,
a
I
refresh
agree.
on what happened.
I agree. So
No, you can make folders for them.
I know, I'm just not quite that working on. I'm more like Elliot, just kind of just have it there, right? I don't have I don't have my
You're
organization
organized.
is up here.
Yeah, your organization, Dawn. Dawn's organized.
Oh yeah. She's our spreadsheet queen.
Oh, spreadsheets are wonderful. So,
Yeah.
Tim, how many folks do you have there? You have 4 or 5.
1,
And
2,
Lance?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right now, and then Brenda on her own computer, so 9. But I have my 2 intervention teachers sitting in. They won't really be using it, but I thought it would be good for them to just at least see it. But
Sure.
my 6 classroom teachers will be using it the most, and they're all either here or online.
You might be surprised when we show you some things. I bet your intervention teachers will use it because it's a really easy way to collaborate with the other teachers and provide that structure for kids. You wait. We'll show you.
That's why I invited them, because I knew that.
Good. Good. It's the best way to do it for kids, for sure.
We have a mix right now. We have about, because we're offering face-to-face and online, and we have about, oh, hold on, Lance is calling me from K3.
Yeah, that's why I was worried.
Yeah. When you get into the meeting, he put a couple of links in the chat box. We're having better success using the links from the chat box instead of the one that was in the PDF.
You're going to have to copy and put those links in again because anybody that comes in after those links have been added.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, you want me to read
thank you, Leah.
real quick, or do you have it? Okay.
Is he on? Is he on the conversation already?
He's just getting in.
Okay.
All right, Lance is getting in.
There we go. So I'll wait for him and then I'll
He's the big
repost.
wildcat that looks like it's on steroids.
Hey, Lance, how you
Oh,
doing?
no, wait, that's the-
Hey, good. We're having some issues getting in here, so let me just get our audio up and running over our speakers and we'll be all set.
Do you have all your folks there?
I do.
It's quite a number.
Very organized.
20 odd or something in that neighborhood, I think. No?
All right, I think we should be good on our end.
25?
So we got a full room here.
Wow.
Ooh.
All right.
Sitting at your desks. I love it. Teachers sitting at desks. Okay, sports fans. Okay, let's go. Lance, are we ready?
We're good.
Okay. Well, welcome, folks. This is your first exposure to Collaborify Roadmap platform and the digital curricula that we are going to provide for you to use both in class and at home, because we believe that learning at school and learning at home needs to be seamless. And so the same curricula can be used at home and at school. And there are changes that you have to make, and we'll show you, but it's just how you interpret the turn and talk, for example. My name is Elliot Soloway. I'm co-director of the Center for Digital Curricula, because in our world, we believe that schools don't want technology, schools want curricula. And those wonderful tools, which are great, but you want curricula, because teachers are the heart of the classroom, curricula is the heartbeat of the classroom. And so what you're going to see today is curricula for K through 5. Free, you're going to use it. Yeah, you're going to use it. So I'm going to introduce my team, and we'll go around. I'm looking at them on the Zoom, and we'll introduce them, and then we'll dive into it. Monique?
Yeah. I was getting some things ready, but my name's Monique Coleman. I'm from Haas Elementary in Genesee. So I'm a little bit northeast of Flint, just on the fringe of Flint. And I am a third grade teacher and started working with MLPBL, which is out of Create for STEM for MSU. And Elliot was a partner with them working, he put their science on roadmaps. And then as I started using them in the classroom, started seeing, well, we could use it for this. Well, I could use it for that, and started building out my own. And then we teamed up and did some stuff for Michigan OER. And then we went to McCall, and then this team of ladies that are here, we were all at McCall when they called school and said, it's done. And we have worked diligently all summer. First, we provided all types of just kind of enrichment. That's exactly it. We provided all kinds of enrichment, and then we said, oh geez, we better switch to curriculum. So we have truly done some miraculous things in 5 months.
Absolutely. Thank you, Monique. Liat.
Hello, everybody. My name is Liat Kopel. I'm originally a special education teacher from Israel. And my job in this team is to support teachers like yourselves that are going to be using our platform. I did it before COVID. I'm hoping to do it after COVID. And I think you're really going to enjoy it and see how wonderful it is to have a curriculum that can be customized and personalized to meet each and every one of your learners' needs and each level.
Thank you, Liat. Nicole.
Hello, my name is Nicole Andrews, and I teach K2 Computer Science and 3-5 STEM at Kent City Elementary. It's in northern Kent County on the west side of the state. My teacher partner and I were piloting the Roadmaps platform for MLPBL Create for STEM last year, and then when COVID hit, I teamed up with the ladies on screen. And we also taught the other 3 exploratory teachers how to use roadmaps. And then all 5 exploratory teachers made one roadmap with all of our lessons to send to our K-5 kiddos for at-home learning. And it worked fantastically. We had great feedback from parents, staff, and students. So we are excited to be moving ahead forward with it like you guys are this fall.
Thank you, Nicole. Denise.
Hi, my name is Denise Gallimore, and I have taught about 30 years, K through 6, and the last year I have been working with the roadmap team, but before that, how I became involved in the roadmaps, I was and still am part of the My Go Open committee at the MDE, where we started looking for OERs, open educational resources, quality, because we all know how much textbooks cost and we know how many resources are out there. So we were looking and trying to, give teachers new and quality resources that were free but quality. And I was part of the Go Open textbook, as well as that committee that was trying to bring quality resources. I met Elliot at a Go Open event, and I saw that I needed a tool, and it was Roadmap. I didn't know until I met him, but to bring those resources into the classroom in an engaging way, in a way that I could differentiate, I could scaffold all that learning and all those things that I know my students needed. Those resources are great, but we need to get them to the students. So I did use it. I have a full year of, and most of my experience in elementary was upper L. So I used it in the classroom. And as Elliot said in his introduction, that seamless piece, I know it works. I used it there. And then I've been working with this team during the COVID, helping other teachers bring it to the classroom when we were at home. So I really look forward to sharing what I know and what this team knows. And again, that one place, you think of it as that one-stop shop for every single thing. There's a lot of great things out there, but we have not just a place for it. We have the curriculum, your curriculum, what you need, so students can navigate and parents aren't frustrated with 40 tabs open, and it's a learning platform like none other. So I'm proud to be part of the team and work with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Dawn.
Hi, Dawn Mahalik. I've taught third grade for 25 years for Bay City Public Schools. And I'm a fairly new member to the team, but I did use roadmaps in my classroom this year as part of the math pilot. And when I learned about roadmaps, I was really excited about putting my science curriculum into it, and then started to see the value of bringing the curriculum to the kids in this way that was so engaging and self-paced, where they could go through the curriculum as they needed to, and my higher students could keep going, and my students that struggled, they could take their time and actually master something before moving on, although we were all working on the same curriculum. So it's really great for that differentiation. And I think it has energized my teaching for sure and gotten me excited again after 25 years. That says a lot.
That does. That does. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. Lance, Tim, do you want to say something about your folks? Lance first.
So we, with our school starting a week from tomorrow, it's been a huge undertaking trying to get ready, as we have kids that are in person and virtual. So I think that our staff is very eager to learn more about roadmaps. And also just, with all the stress going on, looking for something that we can use to make life a little bit easier. But they've been working very hard and have made a lot of adjustments, even with being here today. So, we're excited to learn more from you, but I can just speak very highly of what our staff has already been doing. So I think this will be helpful to know more about the platform.
Good. Thank you, Lance. Absolutely. Tim, do you want to say something? Hello?
Sure. Very similar to what Lance said. The group of teachers here are mainly starting the year face-to-face. We're still starting 100% of the students every day face-to-face, but we also offered online option to our families who didn't feel safe about coming back or didn't want to make their kids wear a mask, is what the biggest reason I'm getting was. So we're looking at trying to pair up what we're doing in the classroom to what the online teachers are going to be doing, because our K-5 online teachers are also going to be using roadmaps for the kids who start the year virtual, but our classroom teachers are going to use roadmaps. So if and when we go 100% virtual, we're still all semi-aligned is what we're hoping.
Yep, that's what's on offer. Absolutely. Okay, here we go. What I'm going to do is, Monique, do you want to share the number one? And then.
Sure. So here we go. Let me click my share screen.
And you folks can follow along on your machines or not. I mean, because you have this now.
Okay, so this is the roadmap that you accessed earlier. This was kind of our professional development roadmap, our first one in the series. And within this series, you have at the bend right there at number 3, you have the choice of independent, interactive, or virtual. So this is actually something that you could build out for your students also. But for our meeting today, we're going to move on to node number 5. So you have went through node number 1, learning about the UMCDC and the roadmaps. You've heard some of the testimonials from teachers. You've looked at some of the different types of roadmaps. And then there's the meeting link that brought you here today. Here is roadmap question board. We're going to show you a collaborative way, and it's a way for us to differentiate PD also, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this collaborative driving question board. Every time I click on the node, the drawer opens on the side. Notice that when I was in this map, it's blue up here. This is the teacher platform. When I'm in the green, oh, there's Chandler. And when I'm in the green, I'm in the student platform. I will click the launch activity. It opens up the driving question board. And as you're in the driving question board, you're going to click plus. The drawer comes out on the left. Type your question in the drawer. So you've had some time to actually look at what a roadmap is. You've heard us talk a little bit. What do you think? What are you thinking? Like, what do you, how you, I'm sure you have tons of questions. Brenda Morgan just joined me. You can see these people are joining here. See, me and Brenda are inside here. And if you have a computer, it'd be really nice if you came in too, because this is where you can add questions. And much like we're adding questions today, students can do the same thing within a classroom in collaborative driving question boards, or we have them built into Reader's Workshop, Writer's Workshop, and different pieces of curriculum, so that there's that engagement and collaboration, even in a virtual setting. So if I click on the node here, the drawer pulls out again. If I enter a title, the title is going to be the question that I'm asking, right? So I'm going to put in, how will I send this to students? And this is my question, and I'm going to just leave it up here. Now, Chandler and Brenda, since they're in here, they can click on this plus symbol at the bottom. That will open there. One of them did it. And you can see they have a node here. And this node, they're going to click on inside. Here comes Betsy. They're going to click on this node. And then when they click on their node, the drawer will pull out on the side. And where it says enter title, they're going to type a question that they might have about roadmaps. Hello, Emily. Notice all the people that are showing up here? So what we're going to do is we're going to give you about 4 minutes to come on in and put a question in there, because it really helps us tailor your PD. We need to know, like, what questions do you have?
And there's a K3 board and there's a 4-5 board.
Okay, then I'll open the K3 board also. I'm going to go back and get the K3 board.
Okay. I joined the K5, the 4-5 board.
So that's what I'm in too.
It gets a little confusing.
And Lakeview K3.
There we go. Put a question, folks, and change the node structure, make it a square, make it a circle.
So I'm going into the K3 board. Oh my goodness, look at those K3ers. 16 of them in there. They're popping up questions all over the place. Look at that.
Cool.
Wow. So you can see they're adding questions as we're speaking. It's all, everybody can do it at the same time. Kids can add questions to the driving question board, and it makes it for a really nice place. The ladies will probably go in and do some organization, so we really have an idea of what your burning questions are, so that we can go through and put together a good PD for you. Well, we're going to do that no matter what.
I'm going to hop on to K3, and you and Dawn want to do 4-5?
Yeah. So you
Okay.
can see someone had
Great,
put a
Leah.
comment in here. When they put the comment, somebody had written in this one, and you can see that they wrote in here, oh, roadmap team. Remember, we're not answering their driving questions. They drive our instruction, they answer them. Because then we have to answer them for them to go back and answer them, right? So that's the whole idea, is that we kind of make sure that we're touching on all of these questions so that you go, oh, I got the answer to that now. I can go back and answer that.
Oh. Hi, Dempsey.
So you can see there's 18. And then if we look over here, we have 10 people. I'm going to actually start our 4 minutes right now. So at 11:25, we'll meet back here.
These are excellent questions. Very good, folks.
Ooh, somebody figured out how to use an image.
Monique, you're in the K3. Is someone doing 4-5?
I can do that.
I'm on 4-5.
Awesome.
Come on, 4-5ers. Those K3.
We're fivers. Wake up. It's the coffee.
Oh, look at that, though. Somebody just put a paw in.
Ooh, I like it. That's a good one.
We're getting some customization. Well, there you go. Yeah, 1 more minute, people. All right, so it is 11:25.
Hey, just so you know, 4, 5's, like, we all have a screen and we all have questions on our screen, but they're not all going to your question screen. Like I typed a question and it's the only question on my screen.
You know why, I bet? Because this is I wonder if this is the original link, and then the
Oh,
link
Mom.
Elliot sent in the chat. You guys have one going for that one.
I'm
I
using
bet
the
you
link
that's
that
what it
got
is.
sent in the chat. And some people were able to get the one from the PDF working, you're right.
Let me go. I didn't even grab the one from the chat. I need to go in
And
there.
we have one person that it still just stays on the spinning screen.
Oh, no.
Monique, I'm in the one on the chat for
Okay.
4, 5, and I see several questions.
Awesome.
When I shrink my screen, I see everybody's questions.
If you shrink your screen.
Over here are the shrinking. I heard you talking about the shrinking the screen. If you click this magnifying glass here, if you click the plus, it brings it up. Sorry, it's, I know, probably making people dizzy. But also these 4 square, it will center everybody's. So if you click on the 4 square here, it will center everybody's questions. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to our roadmap. And at this time, we're, as a team, going to be categorizing your questions. And Dr. Holloway is going to go through his highlights of roadmaps, and then we will revisit the driving question board. So there are things that he's going to address during his presentation that will answer some of the questions that you have on your driving question board. We'll go back, we'll answer those questions that you see have been answered, and then we'll go into the second part of our PD. Are we ready?
I'm going to share my screen. And this is Roadmap Center. Once you log in, it's roadmap.center. That's the URL. Oh, I hear a little echo. Sorry. Is that bothersome, that echo, folks? Okay. I want to point out that we have some tutorials here. If you click here, and we have some wonderful videos here. If you click here, it's going to take you. Oh boy, that echo. Oh boy, that echo. I'm not sure how to stop it, in fact. Okay, we'll just have to bear with us. It takes you to the Center for Digital Curricula, where we have some videos. So you're going to have questions, but I urge you to take a look here for the videos. You might want, if some people like to read things, some people like to watch things. So here is help, and this is when you click on Roadmap Center, right? Right there when you log in, that's what you're going to get, are those 2 notes. And then when you want to search the repository for your curricula, science, et cetera, you'll go to Search Repository, and this is where all the curricula is. So if I want to go to UMCDC first grade, then this is all the first grade units and the MESA units and the social studies, et cetera, and you can scroll down and you're going to get more, and then you'll save it here to your roadmap collection. Again, we're going to go, it's going to come fast, but don't worry, relax. There are those videos that'll show you. We are recording this, so I'll send out the link later and you can have it, and so you can come back and review it. But breathe, breathe, breathe. Then we come down to here, over on the left bar, the toolbar here on the left, where it says Modify My Roadmaps. This is my collection of roadmaps. These are my personal ones that I love dearly. And I have one that, and you can sort of see the different ones here, because I sent it out so that I get a copy. It's not to worry, but I'm going to search for the word webinar because that's how I organize it. And I'm now going to show you some examples of student work, okay? First off, again, this is a roadmap. Looks a little different than Monique's, but that's the point. They're different shapes, different sizes, different colors. I click on a node, umish.cdc, and there are instructions. I click launch, and now this is the website for the Center for Digital Curricula. I urge you to come here and go over on the tabs where it says Visit Classrooms. Click on that tab, and what you're going to see are pictures of students and teachers in classrooms, because we had a pilot from September to March till we got closed down, about 600 kids, 7 schools. And I'm not going to go too fast because you get seasick. And it's to see how it really looks. And what's interesting is that the pedagogies could be different. This top level is a more student-directed pedagogy, 3rd grade. Each child on their Chromebook has a roadmap, could be a different roadmap because they're working at different paces. They could be working collaboratively. You could see in the back a couple of kids working collaboratively, up front, maybe working collaboratively. Down at the bottom, this is a more teacher-led, where on the front screen is the roadmap, and the children are moving through it at the teacher's direction. Here is more a station-centric, where they didn't have one-to-one, but they had enough computers for a table, so it was more station-centric. The point is, you can have different pedagogies that you're comfortable with for the roadmaps. So I urge you to come to this website, take a look here, and see how it looks at the different schools. And we have middle school, K-5, some middle school, so there's different pictures, okay? Now, I'm coming back to the tabs at the top, and, oh, that's right, it's this one, and because I was at that website. Now I'm gonna close the drawer, and I'm gonna click on the second node, standards-based. Again, I'm gonna click launch, and what I wanna show you here is a whole year of curricula in one roadmap. This is grade 3, MESA, and it's theme-based, geography, economics, government, history. All of it is in one roadmap. Now, this is not something you send to the kids, but you would download it from the repository. So I'm gonna click on this topmost one. The drawer opens up. I click again, launch, and there's another roadmap. Now, these are all the questions in geography. And now I'm gonna finally click on one of them. This is the one that you would send to your students. And your students would get this one, and they would follow through the roadmap. And later on in this, we'll go through these in more detail, so I'm not gonna go through them now, but you could see node, node, arrow, arrow, there are numbers, follow through, there's a legend, tries to keep the color coding. The team has put a lot of time and energy into creating these roadmaps. You can start by using this exact roadmap. Don't change it, but I'm sure you're going to want to change it. And they're easy to change, and you'll see it's going to be easy to change. But to start, you might want to start with exactly what this does. Okay, I'm going to come back to here. And now I'm going to show you another roadmap. This is Mrs. Skinner. She's not with us today. She's traveling. But I do want to show a picture. I like this picture. This is a picture of Mrs. Skinner came to one of our webinars on a Thursday night. She then came to a second webinar the next day, Friday. And on Monday, she rolled it out to her class during the COVID break. She had 100% attendance during the COVID break, while her second grade, while her colleagues had 50% or less who were doing paper. The kids loved this. And a mother came downstairs one morning and saw her child giving a lesson to the brother on how to use roadmaps. And she was so tickled with this, she took the video and sent it to Mrs. Skinner. And this child, Mrs. Skinner says, is hard to motivate, but you could see He's into it. He loves it. He's having a good time. I want to show you something else from second grade. Mrs. Skinner's from England, so she was using Harry Potter as the theme, right? Harry Potter. And this is PDF Pal. It's a very simple PDF markup tool. You'll see it a little more. You have a drawing tool, a text tool, a highlighting tool, and an eraser, plus some colors. And this is Mrs. Skinner's. I'm going to make this a little bigger, sorry. There you go. There you go. This is Mrs. Skinner's second grade schedule for the whole week. Second graders had no trouble navigating this schedule. And Monique's going to show you a schedule. And you can have a schedule for week 1, day 1. That's what you send to the kids, is something like this. And again, Monique will show you. I'm going to erase this. There you go. I do want to point out this note here, recommended by Connor. One of the students found a video that he thought was very important, and he wanted to share it with his class. So he asked Mrs. Skinner to put it in the roadmap. It's recommended by Connor. Love it, just absolutely love it. And one of the lads said at the end of school, he said, after school, can we use roadmaps? I mean, they enjoy it, they engage with it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is what you can be doing. Okay, oops, let me make this better size. Okay, I want to close that. Nicole, do you want to talk about this?
Sure. So like I said, when I introduced myself, I'm a specials teacher or exploratory teacher. And my partner teacher and I were only using the roadmaps for STEM. And then we got the stay-at-home order. And we were only using it for STEM 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students. And we spoke with our other specials teacher, our gym teacher, our music teacher, and our PE teacher, and they did not have Google Classroom set up. They were not familiar with Google Classroom. It's not something they use in their specials. And we said, we'll teach you how to use roadmaps. And that way we can all put our lessons on one map and send it out to our students. We were a little nervous because our K2 students had never seen a roadmap. And so my first map that I sent out to students, the very first node had a video, like a Screencastify or a Loom, of me walking them through the map, showing them how to click on the nodes, how to launch, how to go close the tab and go back to the tab to the left. And in week 3, I did a lesson with my K2 kiddos about predator-prey relationships. And kindergartners made stop motion animation type videos with our flip books showing me their understanding of predator-prey relationships. This is a kindergartner showing me that this little frog is headed over to munch on these ladybugs. I was blown away that they picked up on it so quickly. And they absolutely loved it. They sent me so many cute animations, so many video responses. I was just immensely proud of the work that they were putting in. And then, of course, you know, Spider-Man's a predator too.
Love it. And you can see the tools here on the left. There's a microphone. The kids can record their voice and annotate their animation. No problem. No problem. Kindergartners. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. For the little 3rd, 4th, 5th grades, Monique, do you want to explain this one?
Sure. In 3rd grade, we have a toy unit that's after our squirrel unit to begin with, the first unit of science. And this is the toy unit. The kids are actually creating toys that other kids can build, and this is a stomp rocket. So, and they're showing the different forces and how when forces are balanced, that there's the same pushing up as pushing down when it has that moment of where it's balanced. And so they're showing that balanced and unbalanced forces. And then again, this is Nicole's class actually showing energy transfer, but these are our 4th grade units. And in these 4th grade units, this is energy transfer. So you can see the animation that the kids can do really show their thinking and what they know.
Thank you. And now Dawn's class. Dawn, do you want to talk a moment?
Sure thing. This is prior to the shutdown, and I started using roadmaps the year previous to this, but then really intentionally was using roadmaps to teach math, using the Engage New York curriculum that we put into the roadmaps. So at first I just started having kids work all alone. And then I got a little braver and I partnered them up using the platform, which is a really nice tool. It will partner kids and you won't forget anybody. But you notice in the picture, they're engaged with each other. They're looking at each other. There's no one is off task. And what the other thing I want you to notice is there's no teacher in the picture. They started looking to each other when they had a question. When they came to a roadblock, they relied on each other. If they had a question about directions, they stopped asking me. And it was really a huge change that I had not planned on. This wasn't intentional. It just happened naturally. And the beautiful thing for me is it freed me up to be a facilitator of their learning. Instead of putting out fires or going from one partnership to the next to try and help and figure out what wasn't working, I could focus on the content. I could ask them questions to further their understanding, or make them think about something that maybe they hadn't thought about. I didn't have to worry about directions or redirecting, and my kids became problem solvers. They embraced that struggle, that little bit of disequilibrium that's healthy for their learning. And it just changed the whole community in my classroom as far as they not so much enjoyed the struggle, but they just embraced it. That was part of learning. And using roadmaps is what helped me teach them that more effectively than anything else I have ever done in 25 years. It was fantastic.
Do you want to talk about the NWA?
I always forget that part. Right. Okay. So my kids from this year made a full year's growth in half a year. So my students from the year before made a certain, I don't have the percentage off the top of my head. They made a certain percentage gain in achievement from fall to spring on the NWEA in math. And my students this year made that same gain in 6 months. So from fall to winter NWEA testing, they made an entire year's growth in comparison to my students from the previous year. And I think that speaks volumes just alone. I mean, it wasn't a study that I did, or, we didn't have controls and all that sort of thing, but that's pretty substantial to make the same amount of growth in half a year that the previous kids made in a year. And I had the same, kind of makeup in my classroom. I didn't change positions, didn't change schools. Socioeconomic was the same. And it's pretty impressive, I think.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Dawn. And following on that, Denise, do you want to talk a little bit about M-STEP and testing?
Sure. Perfect timing, because Dawn was just talking about testing, and we all know that no matter what area of teaching, we have assessments to be ready for. District, and in this case, it's the state, the M-STEP, and we wonder, do these tools work? And I also have data that shows you that, yes, my students use the tool of roadmaps for lessons, and I started my roadmap building in the area of social studies. That is the content area that I had over 100 students, and I was asked to build roadmaps just to review the 3rd grade, the 4th grade standards that we know as a 5th grade teacher, as an 8th grade teacher, that we are responsible for, that kids, if they haven't used it, we know that they need that review, but we do not have that time. So here's an example as a 5th grade teacher going back to the world of the 3rd grade. You can see that we're going to review how the state and local government work. Those are the standards listed there from the 3rd grade. Well, we have an awesome unit in our roadmap collection that Monique created for 3rd grade. We can go to the roadmap, we can hold those standards because everything that we do is linked to the standards, and bring that test prep, that review in for these students. And in this case, I added the vocabulary that we all know is so important. Whatever vehicle, at this time I was using Quizlet to do the vocab. And then I brought in the My Open Book, the other OERs that I was talking about in my intro that I had worked with that I know. In other words, the things that I know worked and the things that I know kids need. I used the roadmap for a tool for the assessment readiness for all areas of civics, of Michigan history, of economics, and again, from 3rd and 4th grade, because my 5th graders I know needed that. And as Dawn had said with her NWEA scores, my state assessment scores were in the 60%. And that's all of my kids in, and that's the whole building. The state average was 17% that year. 60, I had people coming from the state wondering what we were doing, auditing my classroom. I can give you that the tool works, and it's not just, I wasn't practicing the test, the way that the roadmap allows the kids to problem solve, to investigate, to be in, their own independent learning is a big piece of this. So again, this is a snippet. You can use it in any area, but in this case, it was social studies. All of these roadmaps too for review will be part of our repository that you can go in. I customized it for our school district, but they're really easy, just like everything else is, to customize it for what your high priority data is in your district for assessment readiness. So again, I have the data, I know it works, and the kids, the end, I would say, what helped you? How'd you feel about that? And they're like, oh, it's a good thing we reviewed that, because 3rd grade was, in their world, it was a long time ago. So I really feel strong about this tool for review and readiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you. Absolutely. I'm going to stop sharing now. Tim, are you having trouble coming in and out? I see you.
No, I just launched a different device, so it looked like I was probably on twice.
Oh,
So-
no problem. No problem.
But my first login's been on the whole time. I was just going to try some stuff on my own iPad to see if I could get stuff working there.
Okay. Thank you. Denise, you're a little bit your internet again. Giving you grief.
Monique has let me know that. I'm so sorry. I hope that I was trying to keep it off, so I hope that you could hear me. I put the video off. But if anybody has any questions or missed something, I apologize. I don't know why. I've been checking everything.
No problem.
Thank you.
Sure. Monique?
So here we are back at our driving question board. I was muted and I forgot. You know how that goes.
Sure.
And so we're back at our driving question board. I'm sure that there are things that you feel have been answered. So if there are things that you feel have been answered, you click on the node. So I heard Nicole say something about teachers co-teaching in one map. And so I can click on here in the comment and notice what happens to the node. I can say, the teachers in Kent County taught or put their materials all on one map. And notice how when I started making a comment, it colored the node in. Here are all the different colors and different shapes that you can choose. Also, there is the image, and this will pull images from Google or from your own drive, your personal drive. So if you had all of your little students in their little pictures in your Google Drive, you could put them all their little pictures in a note, and they could go in and talk about themselves within these comments. So I think that there's like some really cool ways that you could use this driving question board in other ways, but that was just one. So let's go ahead and take about another 4-minute break. So at 11:54, we will come back and we'll dive a little bit deeper. Go into your driving question boards during this time, please. I see someone adding a question. That's great. You want to add more questions. The more questions that come up, the more questions you add. One-minute warning.
Monique, I put something in the chat for you.
All right, so it is 11:54, and I'm going to go back to our main map. And within this main map, we have a 5th grade schedule, but because we have a mix of teachers, I really think that maybe it would be in our best interest to take a look at a K-3 and then a 5th grade schedule afterwards. I'm kind of changing this up a little bit on the fly. And so let's take a look at a sample elementary schedule, K-3. I don't see why you couldn't set this up for 4, 5, or 4 and 5 also. I think that this would be a very friendly environment for them. Here are your days, Monday through Friday. If teachers planned out for the week exactly what was expected, those could be in there. This map is sent out and it is out for the students. I think one of the biggest things that we can do for our kids at this time is have their instruction put in these roadmaps, and whether or not we expect our kids to be on the roadmaps within the school day is different, but we can always have them on our overhead, and we can show them how to manage through them to make it easy if they need to go remote. Here you can see there are announcements. I'm not quite sure if your school does announcements, but we've always provided the announcements for our kids. This is a very friendly way to keep them engaged and still feel a part of something, even if they're at home. This is one way in which our school did it. I'm going to click on the announcements. Whoops. And as you can see, here's the pledge. We do the pledge every day, and then we do the Haas Elementary pledge. And then we had teachers that did the announcements, and my job was to do the birthday that week. So there I am with just some kind of a Snapchat filter or something. And then here's my husband doing the joke of the day. A kid sends in a joke of the day, and then we go ahead and go through them. And then we added the Positivity Project, which is a social emotional learning program that really helps kids navigate through some of those feelings and their personality traits, and how to maybe bring in a little bit more good, right? So this is kind of how we kept that sense of community when the COVID thing happened. So here you can also see that there were no YouTube ads that showed up. Well, look at Kid President, he's just throwing out some money. And down here at the bottom, you can click and students can respond. So what was Kid President's message? Kid President notice. But if a student has a difficulty writing, like maybe a kindergartner coming in might have a little bit of difficulty, but I can guarantee they can push a couple buttons, because if you ever seen them with a cell phone or any other kind of a device, right? Here's the plus, photo, video, take new photo or video. Here's video. Here I am. They would just click this. It's going to take a recording. Then they would click save, and that recording would show up on the page. And just like a student can give a verbal or video feedback or answers, teachers can also provide that feedback for students. So it's pretty powerful to think that you can provide a video feedback for an assignment from students. So this is that sense of community hub where you could put notifications or different things that students might need. Also within this map, you have a class meeting. So kids don't have to go anywhere but one roadmap, right? That's the beauty of roadmaps, is that everything can be in one place. So easy as you get that code, you can click where it says URL here, change URL. You put your meeting URL in here, you click save, and it's there. So any kid that opens up this map or student can click on that node. It takes them immediately to the meeting. Here is Monday. I'm going to open up a Monday roadmap. These are roadmaps within roadmaps, right? So this Monday will open to the day Monday. So you can see here, there is a schedule: reading, writing, exploratory, math, and social studies. Here is what a teacher's map might look like. Notice the little apple up here? This apple node keeps it hidden from students when you send out the student platform. So here is the apple node. I can click it in any of these nodes and it will hide whatever I want to hide from students. I'm going to open this up and I want to show you what our maps look like. Whoa, I don't know. It should not be bringing me to the drive. Here is a teacher map. And you'll notice there are lots of little apple nodes all over that will be hidden once you see the student version. So I'm going to show you the student version. Notice I just put a teacher version and a student version within the map so that you could see both. And that took out all of the extra, right? All of the extra. So students just have those pieces that are in Engage New York, which would be the fluency, the application, the lesson, the problem set, the exit ticket. And then we also have the homework and homework explanations that can be added. They're in the teacher platform. They're in the teacher platform right here. All you would have to do is take the apple off, and then those would be available in the student map. So I'm going to go back to this main map and just kind of show you how easy these units are. I'm going to click on Reading Student. All of our reading and writing lessons are done through Mesa, and they have a mini lesson to begin with. And we go through and set up the mini lesson for them. Of course, we expect that this is the piece that teachers teach, right? But if for some reason that student can't make it there for that virtual lesson, this is a backup plan. Here is the read to self time. We've set it up with Get Epic. We would of course encourage that you have your own Get Epic account, but if you do not, students can still access this library of books through Get Epic using our code. But then you won't get the data that you might want, seeing how many students accessed it that day, how long did they read, all those types of things. And then here is at the end, a share, right? So then they can draw or write or record something that they learned that day, and it would be a shared experience. So I'm going to come back to the 5th grade map, and we will go through more of a piece of that. But I wanted you to see this because I know that if I went immediately to the 5th grade map, that teachers would think, oh my God, well, my kindergartners or my 1st graders aren't going to be able to do this. We have made them very simple for the younger kids and lots of pictures. So I just want you to be comfortable with that we can help you out there. So this is going to be a typical 5th grade schedule. And here is like a day in the life, right? So instead of the Monday that we opened for an upper or a lower L child, this would be more of an upper L map. Here's that daily check-in, which is kind of like a Google form, kind of gives kids that same sense of they have somebody to talk to as a teacher. You could send this out every day and they can let you know how they're feeling that day. Gives you a little bit of a temperature check. And then you could even do this within the classroom, even if you're not virtual. It kind of gives you an idea of who you might need to spend a couple extra minutes with. Here's the morning announcements, just like in the K-3 map. And then our reading units. Notice as you're looking at the reading units that are coming up here, they're a little more sophisticated as you get older, right? So this is no longer just a 3-node, but it houses more pieces. So here's our learning target, the live lesson, what the success criteria is. There's different choices of Collaborify Writer or Flipbook. Here's a class map where they can all be working together and adding pieces like we just did with the driving question board. And then here is a reading log that would follow them within that unit. But notice how this is set up so that a teacher does a live lesson at 9:15, but then she can also pull groups at 9:45 and 10 o'clock. These groups can be done virtually or they could be done face-to-face. But it allows students to know, okay, she has a group at 9:45, I can't be bothering her. You know, it's like the whole crown thing that you put on your head when you don't want the little ones bothering you. Or the necklace. Some people have a special necklace, some people have a special crown, just to remind students that you're not available. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to our map. And here is an example of our writing. And within our writing units, this is an old map. I don't know how this got in here, but this is not what our writing units look like right now. Our writing units are a little bit are quite a bit different, actually. So yeah, I'm a little surprised that that's in there. Let me pull this up because I think it's important that you see it. I'm going to click on Modify My Roadmap. And within Modify My Roadmap, I am going to do 5th grade, UMCDC. That means that we made them. And then we have here Engage New York, MLPBL, Mesa, Read with Power. So I want you to see what they look like now. They're different than what. Notice that is a whole unit in one map. So when you click on the first node, it's lessons 1 through 6. And it's going to open to the map. You would send it out per lesson to students, not like full concepts. So I'm going to click on the first one. And see, it looks a lot different than the first one I showed you. I'm not quite sure how that old map got in there. So this is the mini lesson, partner share, that whole strategy map where kids are working together, reading for 20 minutes, and then the reading journal. But remember, in Collaborify Writer, which is one of our apps, all YouTube videos do not show ads, and the text can be read to students. So within a student map, the text is read to a student in the directions, right? So I'll click on this student map just to show you real quick. Notice here, the little speaker. This is a student map because it's green on top. You click on the speaker, it will read the directions to you. But if I go back here, this is the Collaborify Writer node. And within that Collaborify Writer node is the speaker button. And this speaker button reads the text for the students. But like I've said before, these are pieces that I really feel teachers should be doing the mini lessons. But these are things that can be used in place of that. If a student can't be there, if a teacher wants to use some of the videos and some of the pieces that are within there, because they are really good pieces. But it can be used virtually or together in a classroom, right? It's a scaffolded plan of your day. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to our main map again. I'm sorry about that confusion because that is not what I expected to see when I opened that map. Here is Eureka Math or Engage New York, and we've already taken a quick look at the K-3 version. And then this is going to be the higher grade level. And within this map, if you've ever taught Engage New York or Eureka Math, you'll see Whoa, my internet must be really running slow. You'll see all the pieces coming up. So here in the pink are all the fluency pieces. There's a turn and talk, the application, your concept development and problem set. Within the debrief, the live debrief is where the teacher actually comes in after those kids have had that experience with the fluency and the application and learning about the concept and then the working on the problem set. They come in and touch on all those misconceptions and fix the problems, right? That's what our craft is. And so then they have an exit ticket to show their understanding, homework. But one of the best pieces of the Engaged New York is this homework explanation. So if you're a teacher that gives homework, these explanations are here for students and they provide that help that maybe they don't have available to them at home. There are videos of every single homework, and it goes through and explains the homework for the students. So there's never that, I didn't have anybody to help me, or I didn't know what to do. Well, yeah, you did, because even if you copy this, at least you're going through it and learning, you know, getting another lesson of sorts. And here you can see lots of different teacher pieces, and then you can add in those games and foundational videos for kids that might be a little bit farther behind, or you can add in some of the mystery math, right? All of these pieces that can be put in that are extra or enrichment type activities, or going back and helping kids and do some remediation with the foundational videos. Denise, I don't know if your internet is working at all to be able to even talk about the social studies map, is it?
I can try if, tell me how it sounds. I've been working on making sure my connections were all right here. Am I all right? I don't want to.
Right now you're okay, yep.
Okay.
Yep, you're okay.
I just want to say that this is a snippet of a social studies lesson in 5th grade, as we have created the whole year of 5th grade, and that has already been submitted. But this is on the road to the Revolutionary War, and showing you just a way that the students are going to learn about why the colonists were unhappy with British rule, that driving question that was announced. And you can see from the beginning with the French and Indian War, we start with a video, the questions, the things that, again, as we said earlier, you can use as is, but you might have a better video. You might want a different question. And throughout, from beginning to end of this roadmap, you have different, you know, of course you have different students. We have all kinds of, you know, multi activities and different, you know, all engaging, but at the same time, all meeting those standards that the students need to know. They all focus on going from the activity into the center, where you see the important dates chart. I love the students go in, and then at the end of the in the MESA unit, they have to do a timeline. So they're learning how to take information and then record it and then come back to it. So as you can see, again, throughout the roadmap, we have readers theater. We get some of your the informational reading that we sometimes don't have time for. We can put it, you know, your reading into the roadmap. We can add you know, videos, again, things that you have been, maybe, like for me, I taught social studies for over 20 years, and there's just things that I knew I still think they were good, even if they were older. So I have my PDFs in here. As Monique mentioned earlier, the Get Epic, you can see the Boston Tea Party. And those are select, you know, you can put others for those kids that want more. They want those collections, and many students want to go beyond with some of those great pieces of literature, but you know, you can't get to all of them. So we can add that. you can see how easy it is to, you know, for the students to get to those, for you to give them those situations. And again, we have songs with, you know, in there. We have flip book where we have them doing Paul Revere's Ride, and there's no limit to what you can use. You can use as is, but you again can take notes out, put your own in, and we always, you know, end with something that answers that driving question. You know, what are the causes? And then at the end, they're going to show you all the causes in a timeline. We showed, Nicole showed the animation project, and the flip book is so powerful. Kids love it, but it's also very user-friendly for things, again, at timelines and in journal writing and biographies. My students did colonial American biographies with the flip book, and they just love to show what those figures did. So off to the right, you can see with the Apple nodes, those are those things that you can pull from quite easily. You don't want to have to go look for them every time. There's your you know, your book, the whole chapter, but maybe you don't want the whole chapter in the node. So things that I know that were going to be used, and you'll find examples like this throughout the MESA units. So again, just a great example of a 2-week, you know, a 2-week lesson, or 2 weeks of getting there in one roadmap. So again, that one place and that one node could be within your scheduled roadmap. Thank you. I hope I sounded all right.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's very clear.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Nicole, would you like to talk a little bit about exploratory and how to collaborate?
Yeah. So we started by making a template. So we made a map that had a node for each subject area. And then we made a copy of that map for each week. And once we had each week made, we made everyone, all 5 teachers, a collaborator on the map. So when it came time to get our lesson ready, we would click our node and launch it and add all the details of our lesson. And normally we run like a 50-minute specials or exploratory class, but for at-home learning, they asked us to try to keep our lessons to 20 to 30 minutes instead. And so all of the lessons in here are short and sweet. They have a mini lesson welcome video to start with. And then they have an activity or 2 for the students to complete. And then there's normally either a like a writer node with a question and response, or a flipbook node, or a Google form, kind of as an exit ticket, check for understanding for the last node. So they're very short, they're very brief, they get right to the point, and our students really seem to enjoy the activities. We had great participation. Parents really enjoyed going through the maps. In fact, I don't remember, I think Professor Sulloway was talking about Wendy's students wanting to continue the maps over the summer, and my students did the same thing. I had parents and students asking if there were more maps that they could do over the summer. And so they sought out and used kind of what we made as our brain ventures for enrichment, and did those all summer long. So here we go. So there you can see the meet and greet video. There's a little read aloud story. This is where I was teaching them about animation and the how-to video, and then they made their own animation using our flipbook tools. So really, really brief, very easy for my students to follow. I got lots of messages saying that they really enjoyed it, and it made it super easy with all 5 teachers on. We just generated one student link, and our classroom teachers posted that one student link into their Google Classrooms for students to access their specials or exploratory classes.
So just like we were talking about, I don't know, something is wrong with that link that that I was using, because you can see that when I was clicking on these maps, it was not taking me where it was supposed to. It was taking me to my Google Drive. If it ever does that, there's something wrong with that map. Go back to your modify my road maps and find a new one. So we may definitely be sending you out a new URL, because I'm not quite sure what has happened to those, but that's all I did was went into my drive and pulled one of the other maps. So I want to show you how you can quickly fix that, right? So here in the exploratory node, if I click on file, I can change the file. So I would just say exploratory. And then it's going to pull up all the exploratory maps that I have access to, right? And this is what, let's say I want the K2 week 2 select, and then it's taking that full week of roadmaps and putting it in this one node. So I can see how the power of teachers working together, it can be put together in one node. So students aren't going all over the place, right? They're not, oh, come to my Google Classroom. Now you got to go to this learning LMS. No, now you have to do, no, it could all be in one roadmap, and teachers can collaborate in that one place. So now if I click on this exploratory, it's going to take me to another version. And it will open up now. But that was kind of what the problem, there was some kind of an issue with it, and I'm not sure exactly how that happened.
But I want to also note, if you notice, Monique showed you the potential that you can put maps inside maps. Now it can be used for a schedule. If you want it daily, you can put your pre-prepared Monday map and your pre-prepared Wednesday map and put them all in one map. You can also put different lessons in one map. But then you can also copy and reuse maps that you already have, so you can work smarter and not harder. Because if you already have a lesson prepared and you only need to tweak it a little bit, change the worksheets, change the chapter that they need to read, and then you make the changes and you're good to go. And this is how easily you can embed maps that you've already downloaded from the repository or that you've already created and put them in other new maps.
So all I did was in this options tab within my maps, I clicked the 3 dots, and the 3 dots gives me the option to copy. My internet must be really bad today. Notice this says copy of Let's Build a Math Lesson. All right, so now we're gonna go back to that map because I wanna show you how you can collaborate with other teachers. If I can find the right map. Somebody said something about that. You're right. All those tabs are up. All right. So here I am on a map, and I want to collaborate with other teachers and share this with other teachers. Here I can click on the 3 dots, and these 3 dots allow me to add collaborators. And so you can see all these people that are on there right now. And then I could add, let's say I'm just going to add my husband right now. So I can add him as a collaborator. Let's say he was on his computer. The map that I just sent him would show up in his modify my roadmap area. And then what could happen is if he clicks on that map, and then both of us could meet in this map, and here is a blue telephone or a telephone. It will turn blue when I click on it, and we could be talking in voice over IP. So I see it as being extremely important for kids because as a teacher, you have the ability to be in any child's roadmap. You can tell them, hey, meet me at your map at 2 o'clock. Maybe you have a meeting at 2 o'clock on their roadmap. You can help them through different pieces, but you can be talking just through your computer rather than having to have like a separate connection or a Zoom or a phone call or something like that. You can do it right through the computer. So I'm going to step back to our map. And here are for the resource room teachers, just talking about that afternoon win time, that place where maybe you could set up a schedule so that you are working with your kids at specific times, and then you go into the map of the teacher. So the teacher of the classroom would share their map with you and make you a collaborator, and then you would go in and change this area here. So this afternoon win time, I'm going to click launch. This is a place where speech pathologists could be, a Title I teacher, maybe the EL group, maybe it's resource room, or another reading group. But kids wouldn't have to then search out all these different places that they need to go. The teacher puts their piece within here. So if I click on Miss Mullins' EL group, you'll see that she has a Zoom link that would take her students to a virtual meeting. Also, she provided activities, some speaking and listening activities, a read aloud, and a reading and writing. One thing that she really likes to do here is allow still for those collaborative activities, and these can be done within the classroom or virtually, but these learning activities can be done with students. This is called a PDF Pal. It's a PDF markup tool, and you can you can color on it, right? So I could color on the little cat there. I can type on it. And also I have the ability to highlight. But one of the really cool things is that there are all these different colors that are available. So let's say that you want to work in a group of 4, you're going to work students in a group of 4. Those students could select a color and then they fill in their ideas within this PDF within their color. So then you're looking and seeing what kids are actually adding to the conversation, and they're doing it all in real time, and you can see all of that happening. So it's really kind of a cool tool to use and allow those different colors to be used in a way to bring collaboration into the classroom. Because, let me think, we are at 12:28. And Elliot said, do you think you can do it by 12:45? And I said, absolutely. But I'm wondering if I've missed some pieces here. So I'm going to take a quick look at this map. And I think one thing that I really did not address is the fact that some schools have their own materials that they have to use, right? Maybe you have a reading program already. Maybe you have a math program already. Like my school has Pearson Realize. So Pearson Realize can be put in as a link. So what you do is you just put the link that goes to the website within this URL, and then that URL would take the students to that platform. So if they were to sign in, it would take them to that learning platform. So that's how roadmaps can easily, all the pieces can be in one place, right? It doesn't necessarily, I mean, we would encourage that you use our things, but if you don't use our things, you can use things that you've already had or are familiar with to send out to your students. So I know there were lots of questions about how can I send these out to my students? How can I get these materials? Where do I get teacher materials? Are there manuals? All these different pieces, right? Well, within your roadmap that you were sent out, there are roadmaps 2 and roadmaps 3. Roadmap 2 and 3, I'm going to show you real quick. And within those roadmaps, within these roadmaps are the rest of your professional learning, right? So if you go to explore a roadmap, it should take somewhere around anywhere from a half hour to an hour, depending on how comfortable you are with tech. And you would go through each individual node, learning about each individual app. So here in Writer, when I launch it, it's going to talk about how the Writer node can be used and what types of things you can do with it. And then it's going to ask you to kind of do an activity as if you were a student. And so when we go back, you will go through all of the nodes, and once you have, you'll feel very comfortable with using the roadmaps. As this is more of a student platform, right? Using it as a student and learning about the apps. But here in roadmap 3, and this one takes a little longer because there's actually 2 roadmaps within it. And it's a scavenger hunt, so you have to be able to find things. But as you go through this roadmap, you are completing the activities, then you go to this Google form to unlock the next question. When you unlock the next question, then you go to the next section. So if you went to 1, you answered that, then you're going to move to 2-1, then 2-2, then you go back and answer your question, then you'll go 3-1, 3-2, answer your question, right? And we've kept the driving question boards in there because as you're going through and you're answering the questions that you had in the driving question board, complete those comments. Or if more questions arise, put those questions in there. We'll be monitoring that and taking a look at what kinds of things you still might need so that when we meet up again, after you've been through all of these and you've become an expert, what kinds of things can we still support you on? So this again is map 3. In map 3, notice you're going to get your last PD roadmap. So you're going to learn how to get a map from the repository, and then you're going to use it. So you're going through these steps. What we've done is we've created the roadmap so that you're actually learning as you go, right? It's not a sit and get. It's you're learning how to do these step by step.
And then we'll meet again. And then we'll meet again. And
yeah,
you'll present your roadmaps, what you created. And we'll talk about them.
Exactly. Exactly. So at this time, I know that we can open the floor for a few questions, but then I will put the final piece in the chat, which is a Google form, and it's a survey. And it helps us get better at what we're doing.
But please ask and let's talk.
Just unmute yourself and ask. No way that you people are this shy.
I think they're in the room.
How about, okay, Elliot, we have a question over on our end. So if every student was doing an assignment, so for instance, we just looked at that, I forget the name of it, the PDF tool that they could mark it up.
Mm-hmm.
How how does it work in terms of being able to view all those different students' work?
All right. Give me one quick second, and I'm pulling the code for your, and I'm going to put it in the chat, and then I will show you that.
You're not sharing anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to paste that URL in there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. So here, let me share my screen. So here I'm sharing my screen. And if teachers are always a collaborator on a map, so they can always go into that student's map and look at it. But here we have in our teacher tools, which you're going to learn about in map 3, the roadmap.center, where you can get the how-to videos. So anything that you might have questions about, you can click on that. The new roadmap is starting with a blank slate. Some people do that. Some people would prefer modifying what we have. And if you want to modify what we have, you click in search repository. That's where you can get all the curriculum pieces. Modify my roadmap is just a list of all the roadmaps that you have in your personal collection. Distribute is how you would send them out to students, but monitor and assess is where you would look at student work. So let's say I have a group of students that are working on a map, and I put them in groups maybe. So if I click on this one, you can see here I could send it to Google Classroom. There's a student link here. Or if I wanted to get rid of that distribution, meaning I sent it out and there was something wrong with it, I can click that trash can. So here I have a group of students. Here is a roadmap, but I can click on the August 25th and I can see all the different pieces that are within it. Let's say I want to look at something in their writing. This is the writing full roadmap, but I can actually drill down to the one piece that I want, which is looking at what their answer was to this in the Collaborify Writer node. And so once you get to this point where you're at one roadmap, you can just click next student and it'll take you to the next student. But notice these students are set up in groups. I had them in groups. But it would be the same thing if you were going to be looking for a PDF. I don't know if there's any PDFs in here. That would be the only, but it would be the same situation. But I can look at their roadmap within here. So I can just go in this way, or I can go in with the menu at the top.
And this will be covered again in number 3. And remember, we have videos that show you how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, you got a lot of stuff come at you today. A lot of stuff. I mean, but relax, piece by piece by piece. It'll fall into place. Roadmaps, everything is in one place. You can see what the kids have done. You can monitor what they've done. And if you need some help, there are videos and there are tutorials. And you folks will develop expertise amongst yourselves when you talk.
One thing I really want you to be thinking of as you're going off to experience these maps and learn on your own, I'd really like you to be thinking about the fact that you can collaborate as a school. Like you should, I think, create one map as a school and have your ELA, your math, your announcements, all those things put within it. And then teachers make copies of those and then put their particular curriculum in that, because I think that that's going to really help. If you have to go virtual, parents will know exactly what they look like. They'll know exactly how to go through them. I just think that by having it on the overhead at school, whether or not you use every piece of it, I think is going to give kids that experience and exposure, so that if you have to go virtual, it's easy, right?
Questions? It's a little overwhelming. It's a little overwhelming, but you know, just like anything new, right? It's an hour and a half of fire hose. Woo! But you'll
And
get
to
it.
be
You'll get
honest,
it.
it was one of those like sweating moments doing this presentation, because things were not exactly how I usually do them. So,
Do
you
do you
know,
have
I
an
rolled
example,
with it.
When you said one map as a school, what would one map as a school look like? What did you mean by that?
What I kind of mean is that you could, let me open this up and show you again, kind of. So let's say as a staff, you decide to do a map that looks similar to, I'll just pull one up. You could do one as all week, or you could do one just a schedule for the day, much like we just looked at. And then within this schedule, say you send out this schedule, then teachers make a copy of this schedule, and then they plug in their specific pieces. So if I'm a teacher and I teach, let's say I want to send out the reading that goes to 4th grade, I can change the URL. Well, no, I'm not going to change the URL. I'm going to go in. Sorry. I'm going to go into this map.
What was that map, though? That was very fast. What was that map?
Oh, this was just those the sample maps, right? So this was the sample map that I sent to you guys, or that is available. This is in August 25th, 2020. So here is the UMCDC sample lower elementary K3 map. You can get it from the repository. It's in there. So you could pull this map and then use this as a template, the same way that you could use the 5th grade as a template, right? So the 5th grade that was already in the map that you were using, which is in one of my tabs. Oh my goodness.
What?
Here it is. Here's the 5th grade schedule, right?
Yep.
So you could set your day up like this too. And you could make a copy of this, right? And maybe because the afternoon win time for 5th grade is 2 to 2:30, the afternoon win time for 3rd grade might be, you know, 9:15 to 10:15. So that grade level does their win time at that particular time. And then the reading and writing goes down over here. But however you figure out your schedule and how that's going to work. But I think that having kind of one format, I think would be helpful for parents and students. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I kind of, so probably at least one per grade level, maybe not for a whole building.
Right, right. Yeah, you could do it that way. And that's when they decide on what they want. So here you can see I have that UMCDC sample. If I click here, I can copy it. I can add collaborators to it. So I can copy it, make a copy, and then I just add the collaborators to it. within my grade level that I want to share it with. And then we make those changes as a grade level or customize it in the way that we want to, because I think it would be advantageous for teachers to work together on these, right? It would be best if you work together as a grade level, and that grade level puts all the pieces in it. You do your planning together, and then it's not so disjointed. Your school's a little more solid, right?
And really, that's the way we did it as specials teachers for at-home learning. We made that one template. Like, we didn't have any activities in there. We just put the nodes that we knew we wanted to have. And then we made, 7 weeks of copies of that map. And in the title, we just, titled it, the second week of April, that was week 1, and then week 2, and then week 3. And we each had our node in there, and were able to add our own lessons so that we had all 5 exploratories and their lessons for the week in one map. We generated one student link, emailed that link to all of our teachers. They copied it and posted it in their classroom for our students to use.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop my share. We have put a Google form in the chat. We said that we would be done at 12:45. We're done at 12:46. So we did pretty
Close
good.
enough, close enough. And again, go through the roadmaps, go back to the DQ board, talk to each other, talk to us, and you'll work it out. We'll work this out. Absolutely, we will work this out.
Elliot, can I ask just a couple more quick questions?
Sure.
So under that manage class piece over on the left-hand side, is that where all the students get added
That's where
in
the
so that you know that they belong to that teacher? Yeah, where the teacher adds them in.
Yes, right below there. Are you going to use Google Classroom?
Not in our building, no.
Okay, then no problem. Then, in fact, that's actually, I think it's going to be easier. Just use the Collaborify roadmap platform, because you can see the button on the left. It says distribute. You'll distribute a roadmap. You'll be able to monitor it. You'll create the classes. You'll have a sheet with the students' names and their Gmail addresses, and you'll create classes.
Okay.
No problem. No problem.
And I guess our other question is a little more specific, so I don't know if you want to answer this now. We were trying to find the actual MESA documents in the repository.
Right. Monique, do you want to explain that?
Yeah, if you click on, when you go to the repository, if you say search UMCDC, you can search UMCDC MESA and it should come up, but UMCDC will bring up all of the maps that we've created. But I would say you can put MESA in there. I think we used all capital letters. It might be sensitive to that. I'm not quite sure.
And then also maps are being uploaded on a daily basis. So if what you're looking for is not available today, check again tomorrow.
Yeah.
We are creating and vetting, because they have to vet all these materials. Multiple eyes see them. We check them over. So it's more materials are coming every day. But do the search on the repository. Yep. Questions?
When did you say, I know some of the younger grades, K through 2, you said, and I know more are coming each day. You were talking initially about having those up for school start. Do you know the time on that?
Monique, do you want to answer that?
Everything should be up by Wednesday. We're hoping everything will be up by Wednesday for all MESA unit, all the MESA units, all of the Engage New York. We're expecting it all to be done on Wednesday. So Wednesday by 5 o'clock. How about that?
But there'll be things up there periodic. I mean, you can find other things there too.
There's lots of things to look at, right?
Yeah.
The PD will take the teachers probably the rest of this day to complete, and then once they're very comfortable with it, then they'll be able to go in and take a look at some of the other pieces. But yeah, we'll meet up and help you set up a schedule, and by then I'll probably have mine ready for school, so I'll share what I'm putting together. So because I go back next week too, just like you guys.
Questions? But we'll set up another time to meet later this week. You know, after you've gone through the roadmaps, have had some time to think it through, work on some things, and then let's meet again. Maybe Thursday. I'll talk to Lance and Tim, and we'll come up with the time.
That sounds good. And we still have training on the 25th too?
Yep, we can do that too. Yep, no problem.
Okay. I know Thursday we have open houses, which we're
Oh,
only doing
okay.
one grade, but that's at night. So, but yeah, you can talk with, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we can have an hour. I mean, that'd be good to have an hour. Come back around. Absolutely, absolutely. This will become clearer as you look. The schedule is everything. It'll drive it. Okay, I'm going to close this because then I got to open it again. So I will say thank you to everybody. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you guys Thursday. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Elliot.
Thanks, folks.